What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Back with my segment, Boxing Ego, the Q&A session. Let's get it in. Monday Mail Day. A lot of great questions. And I actually did this last week, and it saves me some time on the back end as far as the labor is concerned. So I'm going to do it the same way where you guys can see the screen, and we'll go over some of the questions. I hit a thumb up on the questions that I'll be answering today. And without further ado, let's get into it and answer some questions. First question is coming from J386. Are you going to do a prediction video for Thurman versus Porter now that it's official? And if so, who wins? Now, that's a good question. It's a good fight. Fans have been waiting for this particular fight, myself included. It was some like negotiation issues where it took longer than expected. It's not actually official in terms of finalizing the venue and stuff. So I'm going to wait because there's other things like basically what I do is just like a hospital. I have a triage. If there's an upcoming fight like Garcia Guerrero, then I want to try to cover that particular fight before a fight that's all the way in March because that gives me a little bit of time. But I'll definitely try to do a first look, a prediction video because it's that type of fight. This is a 50-50 fight. I don't care what anybody says, but you can make a solid argument for either guy winning, and that's the fights we love. On paper, you can make a solid argument for either guy winning. It just kind of depends on what you like and what you've seen from both. But that's how you know it's a good fight. It's a 50-50 fight. Shout out to Dante. Dante's Boxing Nation. He was in the Mayweather gym, and he was asking just various people who were just working out and training, and the opinions were all over the board. A lot of people picked Porter, but a lot of people picked Thurman. But then you go to the comment section, I think more people in the video picked Porter, but a lot of people in the comment section were picking Thurman. So, again, it's a good fight. You can make an argument for both. I'll definitely try to cover it. I just want to wait for it to become all the way official, and I got to handle business of fights that are happening in January, February, you know what I mean, the Kovalevs and Pascal too, things like that, before we get into the March fight. But I definitely plan on covering that particular fight. Next question is from MJ Skills. Deontay Wilder knocked out Arthur Spilka, but Wilder was losing that fight. Do you think Wilder will have the same problem if he fights Tyson Fury? First part of your question, I don't agree with that. I don't think Wilder was losing the fight. I am a realist, so I do believe the fight was competitive. But a lot of times in boxing, what I notice is a lot of times fans, if somebody who's not expected to do good does better, a lot of people side with that person. Like, oh, I expected the power puncher to just go in there and knock him out. You know what I'm saying? And when it doesn't happen, when that person takes the champion or whoever rounds, then a lot of people say, oh, this person was winning because they're doing better than expected. It's similar to a fight where a fighter's getting dominated. Like, let's say David Lemieux, he was getting stomped by Triple G, right? He was getting dominated. So let's say he did, I don't know the rounds off the top of my head, but let's say he did better and landed like one good shot in round 4 that kind of woke Triple G up. Then people will give him that round because all of his other rounds, his previous 3 rounds, have been far lesser, you know what I mean? And he didn't look good. So the fact that he showed some signs of life, they'll sway their opinion and give the round to Lemieux because he actually came alive for 1 round. But the way I look at it is based on what I've seen. I don't see how people are saying that Spilka was winning. Deontay Wilder was landing probably the more impactful shots that were jarring Spilka's head back. Again, I'm not taking anything away from Spilka. He was definitely game, and it was competitive. I'm not saying it was a whitewash or a blowout, but the Showtime commentators had Wilder up, I think, 2 rounds. All 3 judges at the time of the stoppage had Deontay Wilder around, or they had him up rounds in the particular fight. So, you know what I'm saying? The 3 judges, Showtime, me, and a ton of other people had Wilder up. So I don't understand why people are saying Spilka was winning. Like, what rounds did you guys give Arthur Spilka? Again, some of the rounds were close, but if they're close rounds and Wilder is throwing and landing more, and his shots look like maybe they have a little bit more effect, then who do you give the round to? The guy who threw more, because they're competitive rounds, but someone's landing more punches, not threw more, landed more. And he did that. Look at the CompuBox. So again, I don't agree with the first part that Wilder was losing. I thought Spilka did good. You know what I mean? He used head movement, athleticism, and I told people this was going to be a competitive fight, and people say, oh, another cherry pick and all that. And then when it turns out to be a competitive fight, they're kind of surprised. But I knew it was going to be a competitive fight. He only lost to Jennings. He sometimes fighting when you're 6'7" like Wilder, fighting a guy who's smaller and fidgety like Spilka was. Spilka was using head movement, angles. He's a southpaw. You got to take all that into consideration. So it's no wonder that a game Spilka, who does have some power too, had Deontay Wilder like struggling to hit him. I mean, he's a smaller target, and he was staying busy and moving. I mean, that's what happens. But I don't think Wilder was losing the fight. Second part of your question: do you think Wilder will have the same problem if you fight Tyson Fury? Yeah, I mean, Tyson Fury, he's big. He's like Spilka. He actually, the game plan he used for Vladimir Klitschko was very similar to what Spilka did in terms of being real fidgety. He was doing a lot of feints versus Klitschko, and he's bigger, you know what I mean? And I don't know who hits harder. I mean, I can't just go off of size because a lot of people, Amir Mansour can crack, but he's not that big. You know what I'm saying? So it's not based on size. I think Tyson Fury, you know what I mean, you have to respect his power. But his range and height, that he's maybe an inch or two taller than Wilder, he can definitely pose problems. Plus, he just beat a long-standing champion like Klitschko, and his confidence should be at an all-time high. So, yeah, I mean, Tyson Fury can certainly pose problems. I would probably lean towards Wilder, even though Tyson Fury is probably better just technique-wise in boxing. I still have it in my head when he got dropped by a cruiserweight in Steve Cunningham. And I'm not trying to say that makes up his whole career, but it should be a good fight, a competitive fight. But definitely Fury can pose problems based on his size. I mean, if he did it to Klitschko, then he can definitely do it to Wilder. So that's my thoughts on that. Next question is from Ali Diego 619. Do you think Wilder is the best heavyweight in the world? It's between him and Tyson Fury. I'm going to put it that way. And that's based on not a projection. See, a lot of people, they want to say, oh, Triple G is the best, or whoever the person is, without the person achieving those accolades and credentials. Based on what they've done and where they're at, their championship status, I would say it's between Wilder and Fury. You know what I mean? Klitschko, you could put him in there, but he based on that last performance, I can't say he's the best because it looked like Wilder would have beat him on that night too if he was fighting like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think it's, in terms of new blood and stuff, I think it's them. I think the biggest threat is Luis King Kong Ortiz because he has the ability, boxing-wise, the power, the size, and everything, the range, to be a spoiler to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Then you got guys like Anthony Joshua, but the reason I'm not putting them up there is because I think Wilder and Fury have done a little bit more. You know what I mean? Fury with his wins over Chisora, his win over Klitschko. Wilder beat Bermane Stiverne as a challenger. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really give it to King Kong Ortiz. You know what I mean? Latif Coyote and Bryant Jennings. That was a good win, but he has to keep showing improving. Again, the person has to me, they have to show their worth before I give them all the credit. You know what I'm saying? I can't just say, I think Luis King Kong Ortiz is a real threat, but again, I've never seen him in there with a guy that's taller than him, like a Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. So we'll have to wait and see. But currently, I'll go with the champions, Wilder and Fury, as the best heavyweights in the world. Next question. Charles Jackson, sup ego. Just seen Wilder, MDK, murder, death, kill that boy Spilka. Put him to sleep, night, night. So what do you think of the David Haye fight? Was that shit fake or what? Yeah, Spilka, I just seen an interview, and I guess he said Wilder doesn't hit that hard. If this was Maury Povich, the lie detector test determined that was a lie. I don't see how you got stretched. He looked crucified. Like, he looked like he was nailed to the cross on the canvas. I'm not trying to clown, but that's what I seen. So I don't understand how you, after that, you could say he didn't hit you that hard, because it looked like he hit you that hard. I mean, I'm not the one on the receiving end of those punches, but it looked pretty hard to me. And how you got knocked out, you know what I mean? To me, that's going to be a knockout of the year to beat, you know what I mean? We have to see what the rest of the year holds, but it was a brutal knockout. So to say he didn't hit you that hard, I mean, or it doesn't hit that hard, I can't understand that. David Haye fight, I seen it. I mean, it is what it is. Congrats to him, first round knockout. I don't even know the dude he was fighting. He looked like, I don't know, Lincoln Park or what's that, Sugar Ray? I forgot. I don't even know who he is. Mike, I don't even know his name. Midori Sour, Sweet, something like that. I don't really know who he is. So congrats to David Haye for his comeback performance, but I still got to see more, because I can't, again, I'm not going to give credit. I try hard in the sport of boxing to give credit where credit is due, in terms of, like, put it in perspective, put it all in perspective. congrats to David Haye. He was out for a while. He had an injury. He came back and he looked good in that fight. But who did you look good against? A guy I don't even really know. So he just has to keep doing what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And that is what it is. I can't say it was fake because David Haye always had power. You know what I'm saying? If you go type into YouTube David Haye knockout reel or highlights, you'll see some knockouts that look just like that. So he had power, and he looks a little bit bigger now. I think he was weighing like 230 in shape. So I can't say it was a fake knockout. He caught him with the right, and you know what I mean? The dude maybe wasn't that skilled. I don't know. I don't know who the dude is. So, you know what I'm saying? I can't say it looked fake. If he went in there and did that to somebody who was respected and it looked like it took a dive, that'd be something else. But I don't even know his opponent, so I can't say it's fake. Maybe the opponent just didn't have no type of defense and got clocked by a power puncher. Next question is from Frederick Cotton. What's up with Kareem Mayfield? Now, that's very surprising that you asked this question a day ago because I just talked to Kareem Mayfield today, and I was talking to him this morning. I can't say anything right now, but there should be an announcement pending. You know how boxing works. So, again, I can't spill the beans or say anything until it's I get the green light. But I will keep you guys updated and informed when he gets back to me to let me know if he's locked in. But he should have some things in the work. He has a new contract deal, so you'll hear from it soon if it's a go. Next question is from Eric Shipman. Ego, which weight division in boxing do you think is number 2 after the welterweight division? I would say 154. 154, just in terms of the amount of talent. Them guys all need to fight. And in terms of skill, it has to be 154. Heavyweights starting to shape up. 140 is solid. You got Broner, you got Terrence Crawford, Victor Postal. You know what I mean? You got the threats, like power threats, like Ruslan Provodnikov, game guys like Mauricio Herrera. But I would say 154 because you got a lot of talent, and a lot of that talent's unbeaten. You got the Charlo brothers. I think they're both undefeated. You got Erislandy Lara, arguably should be undefeated because he lost to Canelo. I thought he won by a small margin. He lost to Paul Williams. He definitely won that fight. You got Canelo in the division. You got Cotto, who will probably go at 54. You got other unbeaten guys like Demetrius Andrade, very skilled southpaw. You got Julian Williams. Then you got other guys who are just there and you know what I mean, trying to come back on the comeback trail, like Austin Trout. So, to me, 154. You got Kirkland. I don't know what he has left, but you got some guys there. So, I would say 154 has definitely a lot of talent from what I've seen. And some of those are undefeated guys, like I said, the Charlo brothers, Demetrius Andrade, and pretty skilled dudes. So, Julian Williams, another person. So, I would say 154, in my opinion. Next question is from Vito7751. When is Al Haymon going to give Earl Spence Jr. an opponent with a credible name? I don't know. I don't talk to Al Haymon. I don't even think he takes pictures. He's like Bigfoot. If you see him, and it's probably a blurry photo. So I don't know for a fact, but I would say 2016 will probably be a breakout year. I think the time is now that they need to make... Hold on, there's like a car going by. I should have closed the window. But I think 2016 will be a good year for Earl Spence Jr. because people see what he could do. He fought the Barrera dude, knocked him out. He fought Van Helsing, Chris Verdine, or whatever his name is. So people are craving and salivating for an Earl Spence Jr. fight against a big name. So I think fights like, even like a Josecito Lopez or Victor Ortiz versus Earl Spence Jr. would be good fights. Chris Algieri, something like that. I think he should get at least one of those types of guys. You know what I mean? Maybe even a Berto. I don't know. Something like that. But I would say 2016, we'll definitely see him in there with a name at some point because he's been pretty active fighting a couple times a year, 2-3 times a year. So I think Al Haymon will get it done this year and put him in there with somebody of note where we could say, oh, I've seen 2 or 3 of this guy's fights. I know that name. Next question is from AJ's. Hey, Ego, my question is about Triple G and Wilder. I know they're in 2 separate weight classes, but this is just a comparison. How is it possible for a Triple G to be ranked so high on the pound-for-pound list, and you have a guy like Wilder with a smaller or similar level of opposition, higher KO rate, and Wilder is younger, and they're both undefeated? They both have the fan-friendly, quote-unquote, style, and they both aren't in a stacked division like 147 and 154. Please explain. Thanks in advance. Now, it all boils down to from my perspective, politics. It's all politics. HBO, K2, they got a guy they're promoting, clean cut. He has a fan-friendly style, like you said. He's producing knockouts, doing good numbers in the venue, not necessarily pay-per-view, and they're just trying to push him. You know what I mean? As far as K2 promotion, that's probably one of the biggest stars. They got Klitschko and maybe some other guys, but Triple G's the one with a lot of momentum. Klitschko's been stopped before. He just lost to Tyson Fury. So they're putting their eggs in the basket. And then they have deep ties with HBO. HBO likes his fighting style, and recently HBO's been promoting an agenda where it's just like, oh, don't run, don't be boring. We want exciting fights, and that's what they're trying to do for ratings. So it is what it is. Deontay Wilder, he's in the same boat. Like you said, he's a champion, higher knockout ratio, etc., and he's not getting the same respect. Who's he linked with? He's with Al Heyman. Some people have this grudge, say Al Heyman's the cancer of boxing. How are you the cancer of boxing and you're putting Port-Thurm on? Free TV. That's what I need to know. Like, you're getting this for free. You don't have to have an HBO Showtime subscription. You don't have to have certain channels that people don't get. Like, you know what I mean? Like a Univision. Some cable providers don't have BN Sports or Univision. Some people don't have that in their package. This is on regular CBS. If you have a good antenna with some range, you could probably get this fight. So I don't understand this whole cancer thing. So I just think a lot of the fans and media, they just have certain ties and allegiances to certain companies and promotional entities, etc. So they pick and choose who they want. You know what I'm saying? A lot of double standards. Me and Troy King talked about this. Check out that video where it's unfair. Like I said, Triple G, another thing, I think people rate him based on potential. He has all the potential in the world, but I don't care about potential. Like, it gets to a point where I have to still see it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people. Audley Harrison, you guys might laugh like, what? Here you go, you're dumb. What are you talking about? Audley Harrison, who is he? He's a bum, haha. But guess what? I follow boxing. At one point, he had all the potential in the world. They were saying this dude, Olympic gold medalist, he has knockout power, he's big, you know what I'm saying? He's this and that, he's decorated, and he never lived up to expectations. Look at Kelly Pavlik. At one point, he was the Triple G. You know what I mean? Knockout artist. Then he stepped in there with B-Hop and Sergio Martinez, and then, like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? And then he had his troubles outside of the ring, you know what I'm saying, with drinking or whatever. Same thing with Jermaine Taylor. Yeah, he beat Hopkins twice. Who beats Bernard Hopkins 2 times? You know what I'm saying? Especially a younger Hopkins, you know what I'm saying? And he had all the potential in the world. Then he started losing to guys like Abram, Carl Froch, etc. So Kelly Pavlik, another person that beat him. So again, I can't go off of potential and amateur background. Guys like Rigondeaux, he has an amateur background. He was being praised for it, but we've at least seen it. Even the Lomachenko has like 5-6 fights, and we've at least seen him in there with the top level, like a Gary Russell Jr. Lomachenko fought him and dismantled him. And the Salido is a veteran. You know what I mean? Salido's produced hell of like fights with Gamboa and Rocky Martinez wars and stuff like that. So I've at least seen Lomachenko in less than 10 fights fight guys who are highly ranked, had some momentum. I don't know off the top of my head because these are freestyle videos. But Salido, he had a lot of experience when he fought Lomachenko. Maybe was coming off the Cruz win. Gary Russell Jr., you just seen him after the Lomachenko loss, became a champion by stopping Johnny Gonzalez. So he's a good fighter. I just want to see Triple G fight a guy with that type of momentum. You know what I mean? A guy was bigger than him with power. A guy with title defenses. A guy who's undefeated. You know what I mean? Momentum. That's basically it. David Lemieux has been stopped 2 times. Oh, actually, yeah, he's been stopped 2 times. He lost 2 times back to back. After he got stopped by Marco Antonio Rubio, his first loss, he immediately lost against Hoshim Alcine, who turned out to get knocked out in the first round by Matthew Macklin, who turned out to lose just recently to the Charlo brother, and he never really panned out to be what he was expected to be. Hoshim Alcine, I'm talking about. So, again, it's no surprise that Triple G, 350 plus amateur fights or whatever, power, size advantage, was going to beat David Lemieux. And I told people that. That's why I made the 7 reasons Gennady Golovkin defeats David Lemieux. That was an easy prediction for me. So, again, back to your question. Favoritism, tribalism, and Deontay Wilder, he's fan-friendly. People want to overly critique, oh, Spilka. But I said this in my post-fight video, and I'll say this again, and I bet nobody argue or find an intelligent way to rebuttal this. Wilder was in there with a guy with let's say similar power. Go look at Spilka's knockout ratio, right? And he was game as fuck. Spilka was not coming to lay down. He did a lot of shit talking before the fight, and that carried over into the fight. When Wilder clipped him with a good shot, he was being a showman. Like, oh, so what? He was dropping his hands, putting his hands down. Like, fuck that. That didn't hurt me. You can't stop me. You know what I'm saying? And Spilka was game as hell. He was going for broke. He was using head movement. He was forcing his way on the inside. He was doing combinations. He was not afraid of Deontay Wilder. Now, look at a similar situation, Triple G versus Lemieux. From the onset, Lemieux was never in the fight. Triple G, credit to him, he had an excellent jab out there, and he kept the fight at range. There was not a point where Lemieux was able to even get in range to get his shots off, which is what he needed. And he was discouraged the whole fight. So that's the difference. That good for Triple G. You produced the shutout. Excuse me. You produced the shutout, but you also your opponent put up a dud. I'm not taking anything away from Triple G. I'm telling you what I seen. And Lemieux he wasn't willing to go out in his shield. You seen what happened to Spilka. He was willing to go out in his shield, neck brace, and looked like he was crucified. He was willing to go out the warrior way in order to do that. David Lemieux wasn't. Maybe that's his only shot. I told people in the 7 Reasons video, that's the only shot he had to win, is if he would have really pressured Golovkin early and hit him with something that he couldn't recover from. You know what I mean? But he wasn't willing to do that. He was content just getting blasted with that jab and discouraged, and frustrated. So it's funny how people are overly critiquing Wilder's performance versus Spilka, who was a very game guy with at least similar power and a southpaw. David Lemieux was smaller, just like Spilka was smaller. He wasn't a southpaw. He had more than one loss, unlike Spilka, who only had one loss to Bryant Jennings, right? And he showed his pedigree versus Ortiz. And Spilka, the most important fact, he did not come to lose. And it was evident by his performance. So, yeah, of course Wilder struggled. He was in there with a gamey, squirrely southpaw who was coming for his and wanted to win that title. He didn't believe in the Wilder hype. You know what I mean? David Lemieux learned early that, okay, I can't beat this guy. You know what I mean? Or at least that's how he fought. Next question. Bayron 13. Ego. Who do you think Danny Garcia should fight next if he beats Guerrero in a dominant way? It won't be easy. Do you think it could set him up for a championship fight? I like the Garcia Amir Khan too. If Amir Khan, let me retract that. Amir Khan versus Kell Brook, because it needs to happen, and I don't want I'm not wishing. I know people in the Khan camp and stuff. So hypothetically, if Khan were to lose to Danny Garcia again, or get knocked out, or lose a decision, even the Kell Brook fight is now of no consequence. I don't care about a Kell Brook fight if you lose to Danny Garcia again. Khan has some momentum. He's strung up some wins since the first Garcia fight. So I want to see the Kell Brook fight versus Amir Khan first and foremost, because that's the long-standing rivalry, and I want to get it while it's good. I don't want either guy to lose or look suspect or something and then fight. So I'd rather that. But if Khan and Kell Brook can't come to terms, then I would say Danny Garcia versus Amir Khan would be a good option if the Kell Brook fight can't happen. So that's what I like next for Danny Garcia. You guys let me know. If it's a stay busy fight, you can fight anybody. There's a lot of people out there that I would like to see. When I do these questions, I try to be realistic. I would love to see Danny Garcia, Pacquiao, or Timothy Bradley, but it's not really going to work. You know what I mean? It's the political landscape and Cold War is probably not going to happen. So, realistically speaking, I would say Amir Khan, maybe even a Keith Thurman, Porter winner, or Adrian Broner. Those are my choices. And next question is from King Kawain. Ego, Felix Verdejo is fighting next month. What are your thoughts on him? And do you think he could be the next Puerto Rican superstar? Definitely could be the next Puerto Rican superstar. He's clean cut. He has the look. He's Spanish speaking, which is big for as far as Puerto Rican heritage, because he's a real Boricua and he's perceived as one. You know what I mean? Like a Felix Tito Trinidad. Now, the thing he has to do is continue fighting, continue looking good, and get people to ride with him. I know a lot of people from the East Coast, namely like New York or Brooklyn or whatever, that are Puerto Rican. And when Felix Tito Trinidad fought, it was an event. I know this dude told me straight up, when Bernard Hopkins beat Trinidad and stopped him or whatever, that it almost started like a race war or a riot. They was like going through the bodegas and fucking trying to start fights with people and shit. That's how much Trinidad resonated with the people. You know what I'm saying? So I think Felix Verdejo, he's young, he has room to grow, he has a ceiling, he's exciting style, clean cut dude. Definitely has the potential to be a Puerto Rican superstar. Again, he's Spanish speaking, which is important because when you're from like an island like a Puerto Rico, it's good when someone looks and sounds like you. You know what I mean? You go look up to it like, oh, he's just like me. He comes from a similar background. He's from the barrio like me. You know what I'm saying? People like that and respect that. So he can be a superstar if they put him in the right fights, and he just keeps looking good. He's fighting next month. I don't remember off the top of my head who he's fighting, but I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm a fan of his. I've been putting people on him for a while, and I think he has the skills to pay the bills. Ultimately, the test of time will be the ultimate test. Next question is from Keith Mathis, one fresh to death. Will you and TK be making more mean comment videos? Man, TK had me dying, laugh out loud. For sure. We do what the fans want. You guys let me know in the comment section. It's all about the fans. If that's what you guys want to see, let's have at it. The mean comments was, I got some good feedback. People are enjoying it and things like that. So we'll keep it going. We'll keep the show going. And I mean, trust me, there's no shortage of hate that he's getting in terms of the comment section. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of comments to pull from. But he's also getting a lot of love. So shout out to my dude, Troy King, undefeated. And the last question, I forgot to mark it, is from Nadim El Haddad. Ego, why isn't there a support button to click anymore? When I use my YouTube app on my phone, I usually spend $50 a month to my 5 favorite channels by putting $10 each a month. But for some reason, there isn't a support button anymore. You have any idea why? Not quite sure. There's a lot of different phones, Android, Apple. So I don't know all the protocols of every, you know what I'm saying, the apps on the different the phones. So I'm not sure why the support button, maybe they updated the app and took it away. You could definitely do it from a desktop. You could definitely do it through my channel on PayPal. I'll take the liberty of speaking for all the boxing channels and say this. We definitely appreciate it. 50 cents, $1, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate it. Guys like myself and Dante, and I'm saying that because I talked to him and I know for a fact this is our hustle. This is what we do. Like, I've abandoned the work world to stay afloat. You know what I mean? When I go to cover the gym, like when I go to Troy King's gym, that's out in Oakland. From where I live, that means I have to cross a bridge. Every single time I do a Troy King video, it's $5 on my way home. You know what I mean? You have to go through the bridge unless I got a fucking hovercraft or something that I can get back home. So, you know what I mean? It's not just about, oh, I'm just trying to get money to support, you know what I mean, my eating addiction, or, you know what I'm saying? It's nothing like that. It's because in this business, it takes money to make money. You know what I mean? The gas, I don't know. I'm not trying to put all my business out there. That's not what I do. But, you know what I mean, getting gas to try to get to these different places, or, you know what I mean, hotels. I'll tell you guys straight up. I flew to the Mike Alvarado versus Brandon Rios fight. And my channel was a little bit smaller back then. And that was last January. I had a nice-ass hotel. I'll try to see if I have some pictures of it. Nice hotel. It had a view overlooking the mountains. It was like snow-tipped mountains. And I was there for a week in Denver, grinding, trying to get coverage for you guys. And I put the airfare, everything, eating. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big dude. I like to eat. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even in the gym then, so it is what it is. So, long story short, the fight turned out to be a dud. Rios did his thing, chopped up Alvarado, very one-sided. They closed off the weigh-in to the public, so it wasn't as energetic as I expected because it was only family, friends, and media. Like, it was no, if you were just a fan of boxing, you couldn't go because the venue was too small. So that, coupled with the fact that the fight was a dud, and it was nothing like the first 2 fights, I lost a ton of money. You know what I mean? Just to be frank with you guys, I lost a ton of money. A nice hotel for a week. I was in the Westin, nice hotel for a week, airfare, food and lodging, all that. You know what I mean? And I didn't even really get what I set out to get. I barely, you know what I mean? I didn't get, it was a discouraging trip, but it comes with the territory. So point being, the donations help the cause, and it helps to keep everything afloat. Like I said, I don't have another job. I don't sell Jordans or anything else on the side. So we appreciate it. Anything and everything counts. Let me know what you guys think of this Monday Mail Day. Try to get to a lot of good questions. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.